Welcome to the Deep Dive by 5W Media. Today we're exploring a type of support that honestly can truly transform the early weeks and months of parenthood. Postpartum doulas. We're going to delve into what they do and, how they can really smooth that transition as you welcome a new baby.
Exactly. And we've gathered quite a bit of information looking at everything from like the practical service details to the real evidence-backed benefits families actually experience. Our aim today is really to give you a solid understanding of how a postpartum doula can be just an invaluable source of support, making those initial days feel, less overwhelming and hopefully more joyful.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. We hear about birth doulas, but what exactly is a postpartum doula? What makes them different?
Right, good question. So postpartum doula is a trained professional who specializes in supporting new parents, specifically during that postpartum period, often called the fourth trimester, those crucial first few months right after birth. Their main focus is really on helping the entire family adjust to life with a newborn. They offer really comprehensive kind of support. It covers, everything from hands-on baby care to the birthing parent's recovery and just the overall emotional well-being of the family. Think of it this way. They provide not just an extra pair of hands, which is huge, but also like a calm, experienced perspective during a time that can feel incredibly demanding.
A calm perspective sounds amazing just thinking about it. So their role isn't only about the baby then.
No, not at all. That's a really key point. A central idea behind postpartum doula care is sometimes called mothering the mother.
Okay.
Really nurturing the person who's just given birth, and supporting the whole family unit. Their main goal is to empower parents, help build their confidence in these new roles. They offer guidance on how the family dynamic shifts, and they pay really close attention to the unique needs of the birthing parent. This includes sharing evidence-based information on things like infant feeding techniques, emotional and physical healing after birth, strategies for bonding with your baby, that kind of stuff.
That sounds so helpful. Can we get into the specifics? Like, what does that support actually look like day to day? What services might a postpartum doula provide?
Sure. Their support is really multifaceted. So when it comes to actual baby care, they can assist with feeding, whether that's offering tips for breastfeeding or help with bottle feeding, diaper changes, bathing, and those all-important soothing techniques, like swaddling or baby wearing. They can also be a huge help in just understanding and responding to a fussy baby and troubleshooting.
And what about for the birthing parent? Because they're often going through so much, physically and emotionally.
Absolutely. For maternal recovery, they offer really vital emotional support. Sometimes this is simply being there to listen without judgment as the new parent processes the birth experience and maybe the intense emotions of early parenthood. They can also offer practical guidance on physical recovery, like maybe suggesting comfortable feeding positions if there's soreness, or just making sure the birthing parent is eating well and staying hydrated.
Simple things, but so important.
Totally. And then on the practical side, they can often handle light household tasks, maybe some laundry, dishes, preparing simple, nourishing meals.
Wow.
Even run quick errands, things that can feel absolutely impossible in those first few days.
It's amazing how much those little things add up. What about if there are other kids in the family? Older siblings?
Yeah, they can certainly help with that adjustment too, helping older siblings adjust to the new baby, maybe offering support or activities to help them feel included. They can also assist with organizing the household in a way that functions better with a newborn. And a really significant part of their role is providing information.
Information, okay.
Yeah, unbiased, evidence-based education on newborn care, postpartum recovery, strengthening that parent-child bond. It helps parents feel more informed, more empowered in their decisions,
It sounds like they're a real anchor in what can be a potentially chaotic time. And it's not just about doing tasks, is it? There's a real emotional connection and support there, too.
Exactly. That's crucial. They offer emotional support by providing reassurance, maybe easing feelings of isolation or anxiety, which are super common for new parents. They help parents learn to trust their own instincts. And practically, sometimes the most valuable thing is just having someone experienced hold the baby while the parents finally get a shower or a much-needed nap.
Oh, I bet.
And they also act as a bridge, to the wider community, connecting families with, say, lactation consultants if feeding is tricky.
Right.
Or suggesting mental health professionals if someone is struggling emotionally. Or even just pointing towards local parenting support groups.
So while daytime help sounds wonderful, what about those long nights? Because let's be real, Sleep deprivation is such a major hurdle for new parents.
Oh, definitely. And many postpartum doulas do offer both daytime and nighttime support. Nighttime care can be an absolute lifeline for families.
I can imagine.
It provides that opportunity for parents to get more sleep during those really intense, sleep-deprived initial months. But it's important to understand that unlike, say, a baby nurse, whose primary focus overnight might be just the baby,
Right.
a postpartum doula continues to support the birthing parent and the family as a whole, even overnight. And a key aspect here is that postpartum doulas often focus on teaching parents strategies for managing nighttime routines independently in the long run. It's not just about them taking over completely.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about empowering parents, not creating dependence. Okay, so if someone is considering hiring a postpartum doula, what are some key things they should think about when making that decision?
Well, several sources really highlight the importance of that initial connection, that sort of gut feeling or vibe you get with a potential doula.
Right. You need to feel comfortable.
Exactly. You need to feel comfortable and trust this person in your home, with your family. It's also wise to make sure they seem proactive. Can they assess what needs doing without constant instruction?
Good point.
Practicalities matter too. So definitely discuss their policies on things like backup care if they get sick. That's important.
Oh, yeah. Hadn't thought of that.
And aligning on expectations around baby care practices, especially sleep. Like, if you have specific goals for transitioning the baby to a bassinet or crib eventually, make sure everyone's on the same page from the start.
Those are really practical points. What about health and safety considerations, like vaccinations?
Yeah, it's definitely reasonable and I think important to discuss their vaccination status for any diseases your family is particularly concerned about.
Okay, good to know. So we're getting a clear picture of what they do. But how do they really differ from other types of support people, like maybe a nanny or a night nurse?
Yeah, that's a really important distinction to make. Postpartum doulas primarily focus on supporting the birthing parent and the entire family during those initial weeks and months right after birth.
Okay, the very beginning.
Right. The emphasis is really on recovery, adjustment, and providing education. Nannies and night nurses often become more relevant after that initial period, maybe once the family has settled in a bit and might need more consistent child care, perhaps to allow the birthing parent to return to work or just have regular breaks.
I see.
And like we mentioned, a baby nurse's primary focus tends to be solely on the baby's needs, whereas a postpartum doula takes a much more holistic approach, supporting the whole family.
So it's really a matter of the type of support needed and the specific stage of early parenthood. That's a helpful way to think about it. We've talked a lot about the services, but what are the actual, maybe evidence-based benefits of having a postpartum doula? Does it really make a difference?
Yes, the research is actually pretty encouraging here. Families often report just a smoother transition overall. Parents tend to feel more confident in their new roles. Interestingly, some studies have indicated that postpartum doula support is linked to greater success with breastfeeding and even longer breastfeeding duration.
Oh, okay.
And perhaps most notably, research suggests a correlation with a lower incidence of postpartum depression and anxiety. One study even pointed to a pretty significant reduction in risk, like over 50% lower.
That's huge.
It is. Overall, the evidence really indicates a positive impact on the well-being of parents. Postpartum doulas are increasingly recognized as valuable members of the broader birth care team, and they have potential to improve outcomes, especially for maybe underserved or diverse families.
Knowing there's research behind these benefits is really reassuring. Now let's talk about something that's often, let's face it, a key consideration: cost. What can people expect, and are there ways to make this support more accessible?
Right, the financial piece. The cost can definitely vary quite a bit depending on where you live, the doula's experience level, and whether you're looking for daytime or nighttime support. Hourly rates can range maybe around $15 up to $50 an hour, sometimes more in certain areas. And there's often a minimum number of hours required per shift or per contract.
Okay. And insurance, does that usually cover it?
Unfortunately, most private insurance plans don't currently cover doula services as a standard benefit. That's the reality for many. However, it's always worth checking if your specific plan offers any out-of-network reimbursement options. Sometimes you can submit a super bill.
Worth asking, then.
Definitely. And Medicaid coverage for doula services is actually growing in some states. As of early 2025, I think around 12 states were actively reimbursing, with more implementing programs. So that's definitely something to look into based on your location and eligibility.
That's really good news about Medicaid expanding. What other avenues might help with the cost? Are there other options?
Yeah, there are a few other things. Some employers are starting to include doula services in their family building benefits packages. Companies like Carrot Fertility or Maven Wallet might offer something, though coverage varies. So check with your HR department.
Okay.
Another increasingly popular option is to add doula services to your baby registry. Sites like Babylist allow this, and some doula agencies even offer gift cards.
That's a great idea for a shower gift.
Totally. It's becoming much more common. Also, look for doulas in training who might offer reduced rates, or doulas who offer sliding scale fees based on income. Payment plans directly with the doula might also be possible. And using funds from health savings accounts, HSAs, or flexible spending accounts, FSAs, might be an option, though you often need a letter of medical necessity from your doctor for that.
Okay, lots of potential avenues to explore there. So if someone decides, yes, I want to find a postpartum doula, where should they actually start their search?
A great first step is often word of mouth. Ask for recommendations from people you trust in the birth and parenting community. Your childbirth educators, maybe your birth doula if you had one, local parent groups. These can be excellent sources for local referrals.
Makes sense.
There are also numerous online resources and certifying organizations. Domen International, Capia, Childbirth International, Doula Match. These websites can help you find certified doulas in your area. And of course, a simple online search for postpartum doulas near me can also be effective.
And when you find potential candidates, what should you ask?
Definitely ask about their specific training and experience in postpartum support, because it does differ from birth doula training. Make sure you understand the services they offer, their availability, their hours, and definitely their overall approach to care to see if it aligns with your family.
Right. And what kind of training and qualifications do postpartum doulas typically have? Is it regulated?
It's not a federally regulated profession, no. But many doulas choose to pursue certification through reputable organizations, like the ones I mentioned, DONA, CAPA, CBI are common examples. This certification usually involves completing coursework covering topics like, infant feeding, newborn care, maternal mental health, postpartum physiology, nutrition.
Okay, quite comprehensive.
Yeah, and gaining practical, hands-on experience working with new families. Sometimes there's a mentorship component, too. The whole process can take several months, maybe up to a couple of years. Different certifying organizations might have slightly different philosophies or areas of emphasis, some more evidence-based, some maybe more holistic. And importantly, continuing education is often required to maintain their certification, which shows a commitment to staying current and continuing their learning.
That commitment to training and ongoing education is definitely reassuring. When is the ideal time for expecting parents to actually start looking for and hiring a postpartum doula?
Ideally, it's probably best to start your search during the second or maybe third trimester of pregnancy.
Okay. Gives you some time.
Exactly. It gives you ample time to research, interview potential doulas, find someone you click with, and establish that relationship before your baby actually arrives. Helps you feel prepared. However, if you find yourself needing support after your baby is born, maybe things are harder than expected, it's still absolutely worth reaching out. You might find doulas who have immediate availability. Don't assume it's too late.
Good advice. So it's never really too late to seek support. Who can benefit most from having a postpartum doula? Is it really only for certain types of families?
Oh, not at all. I mean, while first-time parents often find the support absolutely invaluable, second-time parents dealing with a toddler and a newborn can benefit hugely. Families expecting multiples, definitely. Those recovering from a difficult birth, like a C-section, often need extra physical support. Also, families who maybe live far from their own family support networks.
Yeah.
Parents who plan to return to work relatively soon, or those who have a history of, or maybe just at risk for postpartum mood disorders, all can greatly benefit. Really, the bottom line is anyone welcoming a new baby into their life can find tremendous value in the practical and emotional support a postpartum doula provides.
It really sounds like a truly beneficial resource for such a wide range of families navigating, the joys, but also the challenges of new parenthood. Now, just to be clear, are there any limitations to what a postpartum doula can or should do?
Yes, absolutely. It's very important to understand their scope of practice. Postpartum doulas do not provide medical advice. They don't provide medical care or perform any medical procedures.
Okay, critical distinction.
Very critical. They shouldn't speak for the birthing parent or the family in medical situations. They need to know their boundaries and when to refer families to qualified medical professionals, doctors, nurses, lactation consultants, if a situation is outside their area of expertise.
That makes perfect sense. They are there to support and educate, not to replace medical professionals. We've touched on it a bit, but can we talk a little more specifically about their role in supporting mental well-being during that postpartum time?
Absolutely. Supporting maternal mental health is really a core aspect of good postpartum doula care. They provide a safe, non-judgmental space for new parents to just express their feelings, their worries, their anxieties. They can offer education about normal postpartum mood changes versus potential warning signs of something more serious like postpartum depression or anxiety. And critically, they can help connect families with mental health resources, therapists who specialize in perinatal mental health, support groups. They really empower families to prioritize their emotional health during this huge life transition.
It sounds like they can be such a vital source of emotional support during what can be a really vulnerable time for many. What about before the baby arrives? Can a postpartum doula offer any support during pregnancy itself?
Yes, some do offer prenatal support services as well. This might look like helping you organize baby supplies, maybe planning out some freezer meals for the postpartum period, or even working with you to create a personalized postpartum plan. Just thinking through preferences and needs before the baby arrives can help families feel much more prepared for those initial weeks at home.
That proactive approach sounds incredibly valuable, just setting families up for a smoother transition. One last thing, with rise of virtual support in so many areas, are there options for virtual postpartum doula services?
Absolutely. That's definitely a growing area. Virtual postpartum doulas offer support through things like video calls, phone calls, text messaging, flexible check-ins. This can be a really valuable option for families who maybe don't have access to local in-person support. Perhaps they live rurally, or maybe they just prefer the convenience of remote communication. They can still provide a lot of that crucial emotional support, practical advice, and information just delivered remotely.
This has been such an informative deep dive into the world of postpartum doulas. It's really clear they offer this unique and I think incredibly valuable combination of practical help, emotional support, and evidence-based information during what is truly a significant life transition. Ultimately, it seems like they really help make those early months smoother and help families thrive.
Exactly. That's the goal. They really focus on nurturing the entire family, empowering new parents to navigate this huge change with hopefully greater confidence and well-being.
If you like what you are hearing, please subscribe. Also, please add a like and comment and share the podcast. It really helps us and means so much to us. Tell us what you're interested in hearing. We value all of your comments. Thanks for tuning in.